Welcome back to another episode of the Age of Sports podcast. I am one half, Anthony Carboni. To my right is the other half, Justin Vilche. Week two, we are back trying to be consistent. Got some clips up today. You should go check those out on the YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. It's about this guy talking about Mixell going to Toronto potentially and leaving the Edmonton Oilers. But we are back, second week. A little bit to talk about. Central Division preview because, we just did the Pacific and the season starts in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. We are getting regular season hockey. Toronto, Montreal, October the 8th. Exciting stuff. But so we're going to dive into the Central Division and preview that. But without further ado, Justin, say what's up.
Good, bro. Everything good. Fantasy soon. NHL season soon. You already know, bro. We are hype. Blue Jays absolutely cooking.
They're dominating
bro, dude.
right now. Look at that, 7 wins to win the AL. That's nuts, bro.
This is tremendous work, bro, dude. It's actually a good time to be a Toronto sports fan. But let's get into it. Let's get into it, bro.
Let's get into it, indeed. Let's start off with some very exciting news for Pittsburgh Penguins fans. Marc-Andre Fleury will retire as a Pittsburgh Penguin. He signed a contract to basically play on September 27th in a preseason game. So that's pretty exciting to see. Flower in the Penguins jersey one more time. You gotta expect, like, they put Malkin, they put Sid, they put all those guys in to play that preseason game to get the band back together for one more time, even though it's preseason. Thoughts on that?
I thought that was actually a pretty cool gesture. Maybe the Montreal Canadiens will do that in the future with Carey Price. Maybe like one game in the preseason. He comes out of retirement or whatever. But I think it was a really cool gesture. I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury is one of the best goalies in Penguins history. Won them multiple Stanley Cups. Get the band back together. For one last ride. One more game, and call it a day. So, I thought it was really nice from the organization, and
yeah.
I think it was a classy move. I think it was a classy move by the organization because they know how much Fleury means to the fans and to them and to their history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think that would be, that's going to be a fun night in Pittsburgh as well. Flowers' last game, you already know he's a fan favorite. Can't hate the guy. He's 40 years old, won 3 Stanley Cups with Pittsburgh. That big save against Detroit in Game 7, he'll always be known for that. Countless Stanley Cup playoff runs with the Penguins. I think that was a great gesture, and, I think that's solid. And I think moving along, like, with Pittsburgh, Crosby, I don't know, if, more Crosby news as he was doing his yearly thing of delivering season ticket to season ticket holders. He said in an interview that he has no intention of leaving Pittsburgh and that he wants to win. I think he quote unquote, don't quote me on this, but it was something along the lines of, we play hockey. It's a competitive league. I'm here to win. So Crosby doesn't seem to be on the same page, maybe as Kyle Dubas with the tanking. It looks to me that Crosby is going to try and compete for a Stanley Cup this year on the Penguins. Now, you're going to see next week where I have the Pittsburgh Penguins, where Justin has the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we both might be on an agreement that they won't make playoffs. With the team trending in that rebuilding direction and Crosby looking to be on the opposite page, like, what do you think happens? Like, I don't, like, you got to do what you can to make Sid happy, but at the same time, you're nowhere near, like, able to compete for the playoffs or like for the cup and let alone make playoffs.
I mean, we talked about it last week. I think it's really up to him. Like, if he wants to go compete for Stanley Cup, he'll let the front office know that he wants to get traded. If he wants to stay and potentially help the team rebuild, try and rebuild, and maybe sneak away into the playoffs. He'll definitely do that and help the city of Pittsburgh. Now, his comment, I'm not going to blow it out of proportion because. Sure, he said one thing, which he wasn't really negative about. He was just being flat out honest. He's not a fan of what the organization is doing, which, I mean, you can't really blame Crosby for because he is getting older in age, and he's already said he wants to win the Stanley Cup again. He wants to make the playoffs. So I'm not going to blow it out of proportion because also he's also said a lot of great things about the organization and about the team in the past year 6 months. So I'm not going to say, oh, Crosby said this negative thing, because like everybody on Twitter is going saying, oh my God, Crosby said this, Crosby said that, dude. How about all the good things Crosby has said about the team and the organization? So I'm not gonna harp on Crosby for what he said. He's being blunt, and he's being flat out honest, right, with the fans, about how he feels into the team. So he's also said a lot of great things, and like, what else do you want from your captain? Like, he's getting up in age. Everybody knows what he
Do
wants to
you
do.
do
He
you
wants
do
to
you
make the
want
playoffs.
him? Do you want him to say, "Yeah, I'm excited to like lose a lot of games and rebuild"? No, of course not.
Like, no, no, no fan base wants to hear their captain say that. So I don't know why people are blowing it out of proportion about what Crosby said. He's being truthful to himself, and he's being truthful to the fans. Like, I, there was no problem with what he said at all. I don't know why people think it was an issue. Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, why was it a problem? Like, how about all the good things that he said in the past year? Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah, it's a bit out of proportion, but we'll see. We'll see how Pittsburgh does this year. I mean, they pretty much have the same team. It's just the goaltending is where they've been struggling. Tristan Jarry not being able to play consistently, relying on Adelkovic, who isn't that great himself, but with
Mhm.
Crosby, like consistently putting up over a point per game, 90 points a year for the past couple of years. I don't know. Maybe Pittsburgh can make a run for the playoffs if they do the right things at the deadline too. Because I don't know if their roster is built, to as long as they can get like
Yeah.
within a couple points of the playoffs before trade deadline, maybe they can, excuse me, squeak in. But it's a tough
If
division.
they can get off to a hot start,
Yeah, exactly.
remember, they can get off to a hot start. If they don't start off well, then yeah, they're going to be selling. But if they get off to a hot start and as you said, be a couple points behind, wild card two, wild card one, then, the GM, the front office might be like, okay, push for the playoffs, Crosby's final run, maybe we'll sacrifice a little bit of our prospect pool, a little bit of our future to give Crosby this one last chance. But
Which he
it really,
ultimately
to
deserves.
me, it all depends on how they start.
Yeah,
It,
of
it,
course.
it,
Of
yeah,
course, a good start, like has to happen for in order for Pittsburgh to at least be
yeah,
close. If they start off the season and lose, let's say, I don't know, they lose like I don't know 20 out of 30 games, like yeah, that's not like
yeah. It's
then
not
it's pretty much over
just not
for
realistic.
that team. Moving along, couple roster moves before we get into the preview for the Central Division. Spencer Knight, acquired in the Seth Jones trade not too long ago before the trade deadline. Basically, their future goaltender signing a 3-year, $5.833333333 million contract, as Elliot Friedman tweeted a couple days ago. Solid contract for a starting goalie, I would like to say. Thoughts? I mean, the Blackhawks seem to now have like their guy, right?
Yeah, their guy. He's young too. I mean, you have your starting goalie for the next 3 years locked up at under 6 mil with the cap raising, so can't really complain about that. Actually, a good signing that the Hawks did. Yeah, I mean, not really much to say. It was just a good signing. They signed their starting goaltender for the next couple of years and called it a day. So
It's pretty
got that out the way.
it's pretty much all goalies, Flyers trading their backup goalie to the Blue Jackets. Now it doesn't seem like they have a goalie. They've got Samuel Ersson as their starter, but I don't know if they have a backup. Well, I'm not gonna go too much into this. Just Flyers need to get some cap space, and they figured they ship off their backup 6 foot like 8 giant in net, who's not the greatest. We heard about his story of how he came into the league last year, which was really
Yeah.
interesting. So now he's gonna play on the Blue Jackets, but I don't know. What are your any opinion on?
I, to be honest, I don't really care about Ivan Fedotov and getting traded. I just know that the Flyers are going to be trash. So
Which we will
just
get to next week. But I want to talk. I forgot to mention before we were recording. We got to talk about this. Anthony Stolarz. A lot of rumors recently about him and the Leafs not being close on contract extensions. Now I'm not worried yet. Like I wouldn't be worried as a Leafs fan, yet. I mean, Joseph Woll makes a pretty good, comfortable contract, and I think Stolar should probably match, if not maybe be just more, just under. It should be pretty similar with numbers, but I think what a lot of people are saying is that like Stolarz might want $5 million, but the team wants to go maybe like close to four. Like, I don't know. The fact that they're apparently like not close in a deal. Are you concerned?
I'm not really concerned, but the fact that hypothetically, like let's say Stolarz wants five and the Leafs want to offer him four, that's kind of a concern. I mean, dude, Stolarz when he's healthy, he's great. I mean, we saw last year he was tremendous, really, for us. And dude, the fact that you can have a 1A 1B situation with Joseph Wall, they could both split the season, 40 games each if they could stay relatively healthy.
Both your goalies would be under $9 million.
Yeah, I don't really know why we're like stretching in like for this extra 1 million, bro. Like, okay, you're already okay. I'm already stressing about the Leafs, and we haven't even gone to their division, and we haven't even like actually talked about the team, dude. The fact that like now like they're not close to a contract. Okay, I understand. You know, he's still under contract. The season hasn't even started yet. Okay, like bro, why don't you just get it done as fast as possible? Like, and just give him the money. Like, if he wants five and a half, give it to him, bro. Like, he was good for us. Like, nobody. Stolarz has no haters, bro. In the Leafs fan base, everybody in the Leafs fan base likes Stolarz. Okay, Stolarz does his job. He makes the saves and he gets it done. Okay, why are we so like hesitant on giving him five and a half? Okay, even if you want six, I'm perfectly okay with that. I just saw Spencer and I get 5.83333. You're telling me Stolarz doesn't deserve six? Like, what are we talking about, bro?
He
Like,
had what I remember. He was leading the league in a stat. I forget which. I think it might have been. I don't know if it was save percentage or goals against, but he had a
yeah,
really solid year last year. Like before he got injured, obviously.
yeah, yeah. So hypothetically, if we do lose Stolarz, I'm gonna be a little bit pissed because and if it's over a contract dispute or a contract situation, I'm gonna be pretty angry because there's no reason to lose him over what a couple $1 million. Like, dude, he's good. Like, there's literally no reason not to resign him. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like,
Yeah.
am I wrong? Like,
No, I agree. I mean, I think having a starting, I don't know if you would consider him the starter or Wall the starter. It doesn't matter when he would be. I think having any goalie that is that good at like $5 million
yeah, five and a
is
half,
really
six.
good considering with how goalies are being paid nowadays. Vasi, Bob, uh, um, Shesterkin, like with the way that a lot of these goalies are getting paid, I think $5 million for a starting goaltender is really reasonable, especially if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs with all the other cap room you have, right? So I don't know.
Mhm.
We're gonna see what they do, but yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be too worried yet. The season hasn't even started yet, but I guess we'll move on. I want to talk about these five players that were in that case. I'm not gonna bring up the case, but Dubé, Cal Foote, Alex Formanton, Carter Hart, and Michael McLeod are apparently eligible to play in the National Hockey League this year. December 1st, they are allowed to gear up and play for the team if they want to go after them and pursue them. I believe they're allowed to sign the contract October 15th, if I'm not mistaken. It was something along those lines. So these five guys who were in that case are now eligible to play. Um, Carter Hart reportedly wants out of Philadelphia. He told Danny Briere that he does not want to return to the Flyers and that organization. Um, first of all, what do you think of these guys coming back into the league? And second, Carter Hart, like, do we have any suitors? Like, is he gonna get signed? Because he was a great goalie.
Uh, okay, okay,
Like he
okay.
listen, I'm just saying he was
Great goalie.
a good goalie. He was a good goalie. So some teams probably will call him, but with everything that happened, what do you think's gonna happen? I don't know. It's a hard subject. It's hard to figure out.
I think I think if he goes to a Canadian market, I think if any one of these five players, because I think Alex Formanton went to Switzerland, um, he signed a contract over there for a couple of years. I think if any one of these players goes to a Canadian team, I think they're going to get heavily booed. The reason why is because remember this whole trial thing involved, Team Canada. If let's say Carter Hart goes to Vegas or like if he goes to Utah or something, I don't think they know fully what has happened with these players. So I think they'll be let off the hook a little bit. But if they go to any Canadian market, like let's say hypothetically Carter Hart goes to Edmonton, a lot of Edmonton fans probably know what has happened in the past couple of years with Carter Hart and these other players. Um, Now Carter Hart is trying to tell Briere that he doesn't want to go to Philadelphia. First of all, I mean, what team would want you, Carter Hart? I'm sorry. After what has happened, like, are we being for real? Like, you're trying to tell your GM, oh, I don't want to come to Philly, dude. To be honest, why would he even want you? Like, after what has happened, like, what are we talking about, bro? That's one thing. Two, also Carter Hart talking about I don't want to be in Philly. First of all, who wants to play for the Flyers in the first place? Like, let's just be for real. Like, who's like, yeah, in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I want to go play for Philly. Dude, everybody wants to play for Pittsburgh or Philly. Like, what are we talking about, right? So that's one thing. Two, he's telling Briere, oh, I don't want to come to Philly, bro. Then go somewhere else. Like, dude, like, what is Briere gonna lose sleep over Carter Hart? He hasn't had Carter Hart for a couple of years now, anyway. Like, so what? You know, they could probably find another backup goalie anyway, like to back up Urson. Like, who cares if they don't get Carter Hart? Like, so what? You know, I saw something like Vegas might be interested in Carter Hart. Okay, so then if Vegas wants to go get Carter Hart, they can go get Carter Hart. If Carter Hart wants to go to Vegas, he can go to Vegas. Now, he probably a lot of Vegas fans don't know what has happened, right, with Carter Hart. So again, he's probably going to get off the hook just a little bit, right? Because he probably don't know. Because I'm most certain the story wasn't as big, right, in Vegas or like in the United States, right? So I think it would be best for him to go to a team in the United States rather than a team in Canada. But that's just my opinion. But,
Yeah,
oh,
I
oh,
mean,
um, just with the other player, Dylan Dubé. I saw something on Twitter about Dylan Dubé potentially being a suitor for the Toronto Maple Leafs, maybe fitting a top six role. Two things. One, there's no way Dylan Dubé should be in a top six role for the Maple Leafs. He had 7 points in like 43 games. Okay, with the Calgary Flames, the year prior to all this happening. Okay, and two, why would I want Dylan Dubé on my hockey team? Like why are we acting like this didn't happen, bro? Like everybody saw like the trial. I wouldn't want any one of these players on my hockey team, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
fair enough. Well said. I think we should move along to the Central Division and predict what we think is going to happen. Which team should we start with first? I'm leaning towards Chicago. Let's start with Chicago. What do you think?
Chicago.
Let's go with the Blackhawks. Okay, so after rebuilding year, Connor Bedard's was that his second season with the full season with the team. Not too bad. I mean, there's a lot of talk of him, not living up to the expectation. Well, you gotta give him some good players to play with. Man, it's like night and day watching a Blackhawks game, seeing Connor Bedard dangle every single player and then sliding it over to like Bertuzzi and he just fans on the puck, after all that work. It's tough. It's tough for Bedard. He's had a tough couple years, it's hard to play for a team like Chicago, but what did they add? Well, they added Andrei Burakovsky by trading for him in exchange for Joe Veleno. Veleno went to the Habs afterwards, like through was
Mhm.
bought out or he left the team. But they acquired Andrei Burakovsky, who's pretty good. They got Sam Lafferty. They signed Dominic Tonato from the Winnipeg Jets as well, and they extended Arvid Soderblom, Frank Nazar, who's going to be a part of their future, and obviously with Spencer Knight as well. They also just signed Matt Grzelcyk to a PTO as well, professional
PTO.
tryout. So he could potentially add some spice to that blue line, especially because he had 40 points last year. But the Blackhawks, they're not obviously not ready yet. In my opinion, they're nowhere near playoff contenders yet. I think a comfortable, very comfortable spot in the eighth seed for the Chicago Blackhawks is among them this season. Hopefully Bedard cracks 40 goals, 45 goals, maybe even like 70 points. He needs to start getting up there in those point totals because he needs to prove his critics wrong. Because even myself, I'm starting to doubt Bedard and how his ability.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. If Connor Bedard can't crack 60, 70 points, there's going to be some discussion because if we can see Macklin Celebrini do what he did last year before getting injured, people are definitely going to question, okay, what is Connor Bedard doing? Considering Macklin Celebrini is playing on a, you can make the argument, on a worse San Jose Sharks team. So Bedard, there's really no excuses now because we've seen other players like Macklin Celebrini do what he's doing. So on a arguably worse team.
Yeah, I know. It's yeah, if Celebrini didn't get injured, honestly, he could have won the Calder Trophy. I mean, shout out to my guy Lane Hudson for winning it, but on a team like the Sharks, they were like close to last, right? And or I don't know, were they last year? Were they that bad?
Uh,
I don't know if they were last place in the league, but they were very close, if not the worst team in the league. And Celebrini was putting up really good numbers as a rookie, so Bedard's got to really like step up his game a little bit. Now he does have Frank Nazar now. He has Burakovsky. He's still got some players like they got their goalie now. That's probably for the future. I'd say Spencer Knight's not old, right? He's a young guy,
yeah.
and I think like I said, they're not ready yet for playoffs. Obviously, I think they're gonna come last. No, just like the Sharks, up and coming. Still gonna take a few years, but I think yeah, eighth. Both have that.
Yeah, I got eighth. Again, a lot of these signings that we just mentioned, Burakovsky and Matt Grizz, like it's all just depth pieces. Let's just be for real. They're definitely waiting for next year's free agency class. I can definitely see them targeting a guy like Kirill Kaprizov, in next year's free agency. So it was, you could just see the plan for Chicago this year was just like, okay, let's get over the cap, like the cap floor. Let's try and sign potentially as many depth guys as possible. Let's just give money to some guys, and then next year we'll focus on really rebuilding this team, with all these free agency players that are coming up in free agency. Yeah, last, they got some good players, but they're just not ready yet. Let's just be for real. Next year, if they make more signings with higher end talent, then maybe push for a playoff spot. But we just really got to see. This year's just a throwaway year. Let's just be for real, man.
Moving along to another team, that I had a lot of expectation for last year, considering the free agency they had, the Nashville Smashville Predators. Oh man, after I was caught on camera last year saying that they were going to run the league, have one of the worst seasons we've ever seen. Oh my god, it was bad. Stamkos just his point totals crashed. Marchessault crashed. O'Reilly, like everybody. After all the additions that they made, they just shit the bed last year, and a lot of people like are writing them off this year too, including myself, considering what we saw like last season. Now, they did trade away Jeremy Lazone and Colton Sissons, but they did get Nicholas Hague from Vegas. They got Eric Holla, they got Nick Perbix, so just some solid pieces around the lineup to get. Saros is going to be their goalie, obviously. Yeah, if these guys want to have any success this year, they need to actually play good hockey. Because last year, I don't know what that was, but they were losing it. They were losing games they shouldn't have been losing. Stamkos, like we thought when he got like 83 points in 82 games or 82 points in 81 games last year, or it was last year in Tampa Bay, like he dipped, so he's gonna have to have a good year. Marchessault, O'Reilly, all those guys, they have to have solid years, otherwise this team's not going to do well. Now, I still don't think that they're better than 6 other teams in this division. It is a pretty difficult division, so I have them coming 7th. Obviously a bit higher than the Blackhawks, but still, they're just, to me, they're not better than 6 other teams, in my opinion. Justin, what do you
Yeah.
think?
What was the theme last year was Barry Trotz signed old players, and they still have those old players this year. Nobody got younger. I think there's going to be the same issues going into this year. Remember, last year they were struggling to score goals and start the season, and that's really what happened throughout the whole season. And I think it's going to continue this year. I think Saros, I feel bad for him because like he's a really good goalie. Like Saros is tremendous at what he does, but like just the Predators team itself, like it's just a whole team of grandpas. Okay, like let's just be honest. So I don't think they're gonna keep up in the Central Division. I think there's 6 better teams than them, or 5 teams better than them in this division, and I do believe that they will finish 7th. Now it's not going to be close with Chicago. I think there will be like 15, 20-point gap, in between the two teams. But I think the Predators will miss the playoffs again in Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, I think what once the Predators play these young up and coming teams like for example Utah, or if they play these fast teams like Colorado, um, they're just gonna struggle mightily, bro. And especially these teams in their same division, like when these division matchups are huge down, at the end of the season, I think they're just not gonna have it. They're just not gonna have enough. So I do believe seventh is the right place to put them.
Yeah, I nailed it on the head. You took a lot of my points, and I agree with them being old as well. And yeah, they just compare it. Like I said, comparing the other teams, like they just don't do it for me. So we'll see where they finish, but I
Yeah.
think we both agree on seven. Let's move on to the St. Louis Blues. I want to talk about the Blues. Um, yeah,
St. Louis.
last year wild card two, barely scraping in, with that tough race with the Flames, but yeah, the Blues. Adding Logan Mailloux from the Habs after trading Zach Bolduc to the Habs for him. Alexander Texier, Dylan Holloway, and Kasperi Kapanen. Those will be the guys, starting on this team. Um, yeah, Ryan Suter, is on the team as well with as one of the newer
Mhm.
additions. But not much difference in this Blues team. I mean, last year they almost beat the Jets with like 1 second to spare. Was we Justin and I were watching that game. It was just it was
Yeah.
heartbreaking because we liked this Blues team, but
Yeah.
something tells me that I think these guys will probably have another crack at the playoffs. I don't see their roster looking like a non-playoff team, especially with the rest of the division. I got these guys coming in at wild card one. I think they're gonna clinch the one of the playoff spots, one of the
Ooh.
wild card spots. I think they're gonna, like I said, I have the Flames in the other division. I have them wild card
Yeah.
two. I think the Blues will take wild card one this year. I think we're gonna have a good year from Robert Thomas. I think Jordan Kyrou is gonna have a great year as well, and Binnington he's gonna play better as well. And Logan Mailloux, maybe he'll find a good spot on this D core, considering like the Habs have a lot of young defensive prospects, and he just I don't know if he was gonna fit in or like gonna have the time to play some games. But I think with St. Louis, I think he might be able to mature into a great player. So
Mhm.
what do you think?
Um, I mean, this Blues team, considering they made the playoffs last year, and then they didn't really make many additions to the team this year. They didn't really want to switch up anything because, I mean, they were literally like a second away from the second round. So I
Yeah.
think their GM knows. I'm pretty sure it's Doug Armstrong, I think.
Yep.
I think he knows that, this team is very much capable of, going to the, making the playoffs and, maybe doing some damage in there. So I do like this Blues team. I'm a fan of Jordan Binnington. I think he's a good goalie. He's going to keep them in games for a good chunk of the season if he stays healthy. I like Buchnevich. I like Kyrou. I like Holloway. I like Jake Neighbors. He's a dog. So I like this Jets team a lot. Oh, sorry, Jets. I like this Blues team a lot, and I do have them coming fourth and clinching wildcard one. I do have them making playoffs. Yes.
So you also have
I don't know. To
you
me,
also have them fourth, right?
yeah, Adam Fourth. Yeah, I don't know. The playoffs are just better with the Blues, and I just like watching Blues like in the playoffs. I don't know. I don't know if it's their jerseys. I don't know if it's just like Bennington. I don't know, like because of St. Louis. Like, I really don't know. It's just something about the Blues that are like really cool to watch. I'm like, the Blues are on. St. Louis. But yeah, Blues. Oh, wildcard one. Yes.
Let's move
Wildcard one.
on to another team. I think we got to talk about the Dallas Stars next. The team that just can't seem to get over the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs. 2 consecutive years
Mhm.
bounced out by the Oilers with a great team, great core, great goalie. Everything looks good about the Dallas Stars. For some reason, they can't get past Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the Edmonton Oilers in these playoffs. So much so that it led to the firing of Pete DeBoer. So Pete DeBoer will not be
Yeah.
returning as the coach. I forget his name. I forget the new coach's name, but it's like girls. It starts with a G. It starts with a G. Justin, tell me. Forget his
Uh.
name. Forget his name. I'm gonna search it up right now on air because I don't
Uh.
know his name.
Coach
Glenn
Dallas. The
Guluzan. Glenn Guluzan.
Glenn.
So he was on,
Glenn.
he was on the coach. He was a coach. I remember like reading about this. He was a coach before with the Dallas Stars, and now he's
Uh.
back with the team. Um, not much that they did this offseason besides trading Matt Dumba away and signing Jamie Benn to an extension for a year, and then obviously Marchment leaving as well. So pretty much the same team, just under a new coach. This is a team, that doesn't need to have a bunch of guys that can score, but play together as a good unit and win hockey games. Um, Last year in the playoffs, for me, Robo was playing really well. Rantanen
It was.
Rantanen was playing like really well as well. Wyatt Johnson as well. He's picking up his game. It's Ottinger, man. I don't know. Ottinger needs to pick up his game a little bit more with this team. I mean, they didn't really have Miro Heiskanen for most of the playoffs, so I think it's understandable that maybe they couldn't get it through. But the Stars, man, they're pretty much the same team. I don't see them being as much of a threat as one other team in this division. I think second place in the Central Division is more than fair for the Dallas Stars. Like they're still going to be a great team. Don't get me wrong, but I have one more team that's better than them this year on paper,
Yeah.
and just like I said, the Stars, they just need to get through Edmonton. And if they can get through Edmonton, like they honestly, maybe they would have beat Florida. I don't know. They could have been the team to do it, but they have a really solid team. It's just they need to, get through the hump. But if for the season,
Mhm.
I think second place is more than fair to put them at. Like I said, I've got one more team that's better. But where do you have the Stars? Pretty similar.
I also have them second. I think, dude, it really depends on J Rob. Like, yes, they added Miko Random, but again, last year, like the regular season, J Rob was kind of a ghost. Like, and now this is what back to back season where J Rob hasn't really done much. So Stars fans are kind of like, okay, J Rob, like, what are we doing? There was obviously trade speculation, earlier in the offseason about him maybe going to Calgary, Rasmus Anderson maybe coming the other way. But that hasn't fulfilled yet. Um, Dallas Stars, I have them second. I think there's a better team than them in this division. And yeah, I mean they're pretty much the same team as last year. One thing that kind of worries me is their depth, the bottom six. Just a little bit worried. I'm not really a huge fan of their bottom six.
Also losing Granlund, right?
But yeah, yeah. Also losing Grant, that's kind of a big loss. Because remember he was great for them when he was there last year. So yeah, I mean, but I still think their top six is tremendous. Obviously, Lupe Hintz, I'm a huge fan of. Wyatt Johnston, Miko, J Rob, Heiskanen as well. He's got to really step it up here, getting points. A couple of years ago, I'm pretty sure he had like 50, 60 points. Last year, I think he was at like, what, 30,
Yeah.
30, 35?
Yeah.
Yeah, a really down year, but, Harley stepped in and pretty much took his job on the first power play. Like, Harley was like, okay, I'm going to just thrive in this position. So, I mean, they were just like substituting with another great defender. But, yeah, I mean, if Heiskanen can put up, 50, 60 points, they could definitely compete for the first place in the Central, but I do think they will finish second. And there's one more team.
One more team that's better. But let's move along to a team that you have a lot of hype for, the Utah Hockey Club, or should I say Utah Mammoth. They are now the Mammoth. They now have a logo and they now have a team. Utah Mammoth. Interesting name.
Yes.
Sick logo. Sick logo. Looks
logo.
really nice. I think I feel like it would have been Utah Yeti if they didn't compete with that brand that's Yeti that makes the cups or whatever, those water bottles,
Yeah.
whatever. But Utah Mammoth, still a sick name, sick logo, sick jerseys, sick team for playoffs. I don't know. Pretty much the same team as last year.
Ooh.
Losing Matthias Michelli for a third round pick. Ah, man, the Central Division, it's like I said, it's tough. If I have the Flames taking wild card 2 and the Blues wild card 1, automatically that's going to eliminate Utah from competing in the playoffs for me. I think they're going to fight and be close. I just don't think they're going to make it yet. I think one more year, give these guys a year, and they will surpass a few teams in this division. I think sixth place, considering down the stretch. Sixth, yeah, sixth place. It's a tough. Like I said, they're going to be competing. It's not like they're going to be like way out of playoffs, but like there's just going to be
Yeah.
there's still another team. I think that are going to be a bit better, but I don't know. I think the they got to get consistent goaltending. Like Ingram, I remember 2 years ago was like really solid, like when the
Mhm.
Coyotes were a thing, and then he started to dip.
Yeah.
Velmeka also not great, not the greatest tandem in the league, right? But like I said, they need to develop their guys. Tej Ginla, I mean, he's going to be coming up that
Mhm.
pipeline pretty soon. Obviously, son of Jerome McGinley, right? So give these guys some time, and they'll be a threat in that Central Division. But for now, I think it's just another year of like getting just close to the line, but not crossing yet.
Inching closer.
Yes, exactly. I think it's another progression here, though.
Okay. Wow. So I am really high on this Utah Mammoth team. I'm gonna just say it. I have them third in the Central Division.
Wow, really?
Uh,
Wow.
yeah, I really like this Utah team. They added Nate Schmidt, which I think is going to be a huge addition for them. Former Stanley Cup winner, on that back end. I mean, you have guys like Dursey. Remember, Dursey was injured last year. Dursey can put up points, bro. If Dursey can, be his offensive type of D man that, everybody thinks he can be, he could easily put up 30, 40 points, maybe 45 points. I like Dursey. I like Olimata. I like Sergachev. Sergachev's an absolute unit. He's going to be running that D, all season. I like Perunovic as well, former St. Louis Blue. And then obviously the forward core. I hype these guys up every year, right? Like what are we talking about, bro?
Wait, Keller's your boy.
Nicky
Clayton Keller.
Schmaltz,
Clayton
like
Keller's your
Clayton
boy.
Keller, my boy.
Yeah.
Clayton Keller's my god, my dog, bro. Clayton Keller's him, bro. That's my guy, bro. Clayton Keller, absolute beast. Nicky Schmaltz. They added JJ Paterka, who's young, played both wings. He's I think he put up like 60 points last year with Buffalo Sabres on a team that Sabres were not good.
Yeah.
So as much as like as much as I dislike the Sabres, JJ Paterka was actually somewhat decent. So I think them adding Paterka into that top six is a tremendous addition. They also have Logan Cooley, who could even be their first line center if Schmaltz goes into second line. Kerfoot's obviously, depth. Jack McBain's depth, Liam O'Brien's depth. Boston Crow's big body, Dylan Gunther as well, top six winger who can score 20, 25 plus goals. I am a huge fan of this Utah team. I think they'll make the playoffs. Um, their fans, as we've seen, they're electric. Every time teams go to Utah, they're like, oh wow, like Utah got a great hockey city. It looks like. One thing that concerns me is the goaltending a little bit, but if Ingram and Velmeka can split 40-40 and give you like 905 save percentage, maybe. Um, just be good. Just be good. I
Mhm.
think that Utah Mammoth will make the playoffs and will be third in the Central Division. I am high on this Utah team.
So you
Yes,
have you have a first round matchup of the Dallas Stars and Utah Mammoth.
yes,
Interesting.
yes. I have the Utah Mammoth heading to Dallas
Okay.
in first round.
Beautiful. Interesting. We'll see. I mean, like I said, they're on the uptrend. To me, I just don't know if they're there yet. Like, Paterka's a great addition. Nate Schmidt, like you said, another great addition. So we'll see how these guys, compete against, teams like the Avalanche Stars and one of these other teams that I think they'll be fighting for a playoff spot with, the Minnesota Wild. Let's move on to them. I don't have them making playoffs, unfortunately. I think this Kaprizov thing is going to blow over completely, and it's not going to be a great year for the Minnesota Wild, as we've seen in the past. I think they're now panic. They're now in panic mode, considering that their best
Mhm.
player turned down the richest contract in history. That's definitely going to mess with the team. Um, yeah, I have them. I have them fifth, missing playoffs. Last year they barely scraped the line as well. Ryan Hartman getting suspended like every year at this point is like a safe bet, like with all the crap that he's done. Gustafson, a down year last year. Like after he signed that big contract, he had a dip in his career, so he needs to play. Obviously play better for that team to do well. But I just don't see that team making playoffs, considering like how the division is, and with teams like Utah on the uprise, and how I think the Blues are still going to make it. Calgary in the Pacific. It's a tough conference for them to make, and like I said, with the Kaprizov situation, where he might even get traded throughout the year, because you don't want to lose a guy for nothing, right? So I don't know. I guess we'll see. But for me, I think missing the playoffs at fifth is, I think, is fair.
Yeah. I
They
had them actually sixth.
six, eh?
Oh, yeah, a sixth. They will be missing the playoffs. I think there are major concerns regarding this Minnesota Wild team. First thing, I mean, their center depth. It's Eriksson Ek, who I like a lot. But then it's Marco Rossi and Danila Yurov, and then Nico Sturm. So their center depth, I'm worried about because I don't know who Danila Yurov is. Their bottom six depth, I'm really concerned about because the bottom six consists of Liam Ogren, Mila Yurov, and Ryan Bertman, and if Foligno, Sturm, and Stunning. Not a fan of that bunch at all.
Yeah.
Their defense is it's borderline bad. Like, okay, Middleton Faber, but who's on that left side? Z Boom and Carson Lambos. Like, dude, who are these guys? Like,
Yeah.
I've never heard of these guys in my life. Um, so and then Zach Bogosian. Okay, bro. Like, I'll tell you right now, nobody fears the Minnesota Wild. And also Phil Gustafson, depending on his health, like who knows if he's going to be able to play 50, yeah, like, to be honest, 50 games. Like, he's a starting goalie when healthy, and he's good when he's healthy. But when can he actually stay healthy is the actual question. And then also the whole Kaprizov saga, I think it's going to be a full distraction. And I got to be honest, Minnesota Wild fans, it might be a long season. Many issues, many glaring issues in this team, and your superstar might even want to leave, not even signing that huge extension that their GM offered. So I think Minnesota Wild fans should be really worried. And really, to be honest, I'm going to be honest, they should not be excited about this season coming up. I like what is there to look for? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. Why am I saying sorry? I'm not sorry. I'm just being honest.
It's a small market that no one really cares about, if you ask me. Like, to me, they're like the Columbus Blue Jackets of the Western Conference. Even the Jackets have a bit more swag to their team. Minnesota just, nah, there's nothing exciting, especially if your star player is going to reject the biggest contract ever signed in NHL history at $128 million for 8 years, which is crazy. That's, like I said, the
Yeah.
largest contract in NHL history that would have been. But what does
Yeah.
that tell you?
Um,
Minnesota is just not the market to play in.
yeah. A question. Um, should Minnesota relocate? I'm actually being serious.
Ooh, should they relocate? Interesting question. They used to be the North Stars. That's an interesting question.
Like, 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 what is like? I'm genuinely like I'm actually being honest. What does the Minnesota Wild give to the NHL? Like nobody's like, oh my god, like Minnesota, like oh my god, the Wild. Like nobody wants to be there.
Yeah,
Dude, they were struggling to sign Marco Rossi all summer, and they signed him like 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
Like, why? How?
I
He's
think
like 23. Bro, just sign the guy.
I think honestly, yeah. Bring him back to Atlanta. Put a team back in Atlanta and put Arizona back.
Yeah,
I think out of Arizona and Minnesota, I think Arizona deserves a hockey team more than the Minnesota Wild.
think so. Arizona.
Yeah, bring Arizona back and just, put them in for Minnesota. Like, I don't think the Wild are it. They've never excited me. They've never like were flashy. They're just, especially losing Kaprizov too. Like, they've got nothing, man. They really don't.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest. Out of like the four major markets, like NFL, MLB, NHL, and NBA, um, I think they're like the last team that like fans care for. It's like okay, you have the Minnesota Twins. Okay, they're a decently sized market in
You
the
have the
MLB.
Timberwolves
You
with
have
Anthony Edwards.
yeah, Minnesota T Wolves, who I think are bigger than the Minnesota Wild, and dude, the Minnesota Vikings. Like, what are we talking about, bro? It's the NFL. Like, the Wild are not competing with the Vikings. I like I do believe the Minnesota Wild should relocate.
I agree. I think that's a solid take.
Fire jerseys though. Absolutely fire jerseys. Like I absolutely love their jerseys. But like they really gotta move. Like I'm sorry. Actually no, I'm not sorry. They
Why,
should
why,
move.
why are you sorry? Just go. Just get out of the
I don't
league.
know. I don't know why I'm sorry. Because I
Like
really
it's
like
like,
their
oh,
jerseys.
let's
But like
go, let's go watch a Leaf game last minute. Who are they playing? The Minnesota Wild. Yeah, let's just take the GO train back home. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
nothing exciting there. But yeah, you have them sixth. I have them fifth. Moving along to a team that we despise, the Winnipeg Jets. Here we are, Jesse Pollock's favorite team, the team that knocked the Blues out with 1 second left to tie it and then double overtime to win. Oh man, this team. Hart Trophy winner Connor Hart, by the way, or sorry, not Connor Hart, Connor Hellebuck. Excuse me, Connor Hellebuck, Hart Trophy, Vesna,
Winner.
one of the best years, obviously his best year in his career, but one of the best years we've seen goaltending wise in a while, probably since Carey Price in 2014-15 when he won the Hart Trophy. Um, yeah, tough loss last year to the Dallas Stars, Game 6 overtime. Last year they won the President's Trophy. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected that. Um, Losing a couple players like Appleton, but Jonathan Toews is now going to play for the Jets, his hometown team. Um, Winnipeg. I still have them as a playoff team. I have them third.
Mm-hmm.
I have them third. I don't think they're going to regress from President's Trophy to like missing, if not going to the wild card. I don't think they're going to regress that badly. I just don't think they're going to be as dominant as they were last year. I think third is a safe bet. Maybe like they could flip flop with Dallas. I don't care. I think just anywhere but the wild card is where these guys are going to be. They're just not going to be first. I think third is a solid, safe bet for the Winnipeg Jets. They'll be good, but not as great as they were last year. There's just it's hard to
Yeah.
replicate like winning the President's Trophy back to back years. And like I said, we have the Dallas Stars in this division. We've got another team who we think are. It looks like to me that we both have first in the Colorado Avalanche, but we'll get to them. But yeah, the Winnipeg Jets, I think third is a safe bet. I'm really interested to seeing how Jonathan Toews does. Really interested.
Yeah.
He has not played a game since the bubble, if not a year. What the year after that? I'm trying to remember. I'm not 100% sure. Trying to remember that, but he hasn't played in the NHL in a long time because of his long COVID that he had. Right. So
Yeah.
whew, and I'm interested to see how they'll do. But I think third is a safe bet. I think that's where they'll place. And shout out Jonathan Toews. Hopefully he gets like 40, 50 points this year.
Yeah. That'd be huge for JT. I have them fifth, but I have them making the playoffs. Okay, second wild card.
Oh, so you have both wild
Um,
cards going to the Central.
yes, I do. I think the Central Division is much deeper than that Pacific Division.
So
I
so
think
so
the
you
Central
so
Division
you
is
have. I
absolutely clear.
remember last week you said so you had LA making it by the skin of their teeth. Does that mean you have the Kings not making playoffs now?
Yeah, I've
Mm.
changed it now. I think this Jets team is better than that Kings team, 100%. Yeah, the Kings will not make it, and the three teams making it out of the Pacific will be Vegas, Oilers, Flames. Yes, we all have a battle over, and then both wild cards go to the Central. Yeah, this Jets team, as much as I despise the Jets, the Jets team on paper actually looks somewhat decent. Um, they have a good top six. I'm excited for Jonathan Tace to come back. I think Jonathan Tace has been playing our whole existence, really. Like, we've watched Jonathan Tace growing up. So it's cool to see him back. I hope he does really well. But they have Velarde, they have Connor, they have Shifley. Cole Perfetti's probably gonna take a huge step this year. I think everybody's expecting him to do well. 30, 40 points, maybe 45. Um, yeah, I mean the bottom six too, like the Mesnikavia, Follow, Nino Niederreiter. Like they didn't really do much, which and they made the playoffs last year, so I would assume that they're gonna make it this year. And if Connor Hellebuck, even if Connor Hellebuck like regresses just a little bit, they'll still be perfectly fine because of what he did last year. Like he was absolutely sensational. So yeah, I'll give him that. And then obviously D, Morrissey, DeMello, Pionk, Sandberg. It's literally the same as last year. So there's no reason like for them to miss the bus unless like an injury bug hits everyone. So, but yeah, no. Jets, second wild card. Yeah, I think they'll regress a little bit, but actually no, that's actually a big regression. Actually, yeah, I think they will regress. But I think they'll make the playoffs though.
Solid, solid. We're both on agreement that they make playoffs. But moving on to the first place Western Conference champions, in my opinion, the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah,
McKinnon, McCarr, Natchez, that whole team. On paper, the forward group is specifically probably the best out of anyone in the Central. You've got the dog, McKinnon. You've got obviously McCarr, like I mentioned. Natchez, having a full year with McKinnon now to fully gem and make more plays. Devon Tays, I think a full year with Mackenzie Blackwood now. I think that's going to benefit him playing with that team. That decor still the same. Brock Nelson signed an extension, right? So you get another full year of him. So I think the Avalanche will come first and honestly will probably win the Western Conference. I think they will win the Western Conference, not the President's Trophy. I don't think they'll win the President's Trophy because I have that in the
Mhm.
Eastern Conference this time. But I think they will be the most dominant team in the Western Conference. Vegas slightly below, maybe like 2 points or a point for that conference spot. It's going to
Yeah.
be between those two teams for sure. But I like this Avs team. I like McKinnon. I like McCarr. Brock Nelson as well. I want to see how Drouin does. I want to see Valery Nichushkin if he can, stay in the league and play games. I would love to see how he does, especially how he's pretty dominant.
I don't think Duran's with the team anymore.
No,
No, he's actually not here with the forward core.
what happened to him?
Huh. I'm not sure. Maybe contract ended. He's actually not here.
Does it say what team he's on?
Um, no, no, it doesn't. I'm just looking at the Avalanche roster, and he's not
Wow.
here.
Well,
Yeah.
okay then. Well, shock to me. I didn't realize he wasn't on the team anymore. But yeah, like I really want to see how Val Nichushkin does because that's a guy like
Yeah,
you know like if he's healthy, he's good. We've seen it. We've seen him
he's really
score.
good.
But as long as he can, I'm just gonna keep it PG and stay play and play in the league, right? And remain with the team in a positive manner. Then yeah, I think the Avalanche could win the Western Conference, and I think that's what they're gonna do. They have a really great
Yeah.
team, and yeah, I don't see any of these teams stopping the Avalanche in their division. What do you think?
Mhm. Yeah, I have obviously, Colorado coming first. I mean, I'm gonna predict that every year. I think Blackwood is gonna be in conversation for the Vezina. I think Blackwood, a healthy Blackwood, is gonna be one of the best goalies in the league this year. Defense, I mean, like just like McCarr, who's arguably top five players in the league. Devontae is one of the best shutdown D men in the league. He even signed Brent Burns, so maybe he could put up like 35 points, 40 points. Brent Burns is we know how good Brent Burns can be. Josh Manson as well, Samuel Girard, absolutely in love with the D. I do really like that Brent Burns edition. Then also the forward core. I mean, like Landeskog's back. Like, hello. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Landeskog's back. Lekkonen's there. Marty Natchez, he's there as well. Brock Nelson, is going to be on that second line center. Nichushkin's going to be an absolute dog if he can stay healthy and don't do anything bad. Ivan, I would assume, he will probably get a chance,
Ivan,
and
Ivan,
maybe play in that
Ivan.
bottom six. Ivan, bro. Give the man a shot. Jack Drury as well. Ross Colton. Remember, let's not forget, Ross Colton last year was good when he was playing on that first line, bro. When everybody was injured, he was the only one that was healthy. Bro, him and McKinnon were like one of the best duos in the league, like for like I spent like 2 weeks. Like it was crazy, bro. So they have a
Middlesex,
lot of depth. I'm a
Middlesex
huge
not on the
fan.
team anymore, right?
Modern middle size not on the team anymore, but they did sign Victor Olofsson. I don't know why teams forget. Victor Olofsson is very much capable of scoring 20, 25 plus goals. He did it a couple years ago with the Buffalo Sabres. Like I don't know why teams are like afraid of giving him a chance. So
It's a
I do like
sneaky
that Victor
signing,
Olofsson
yeah.
signing. Yeah, I'm just gonna praise Colorado. Like Colorado, like this team is so good. Like this is tremendous work. Um, they even have Joel Keefe still. I mean, like I am a huge fan of this Colorado Avalanche team. They're good in all areas: depth, goaltending, defense, top six. It's just tremendous work. Obviously, Nathan McKinnon is gonna do his thing. Probably put up 100, 110, 120 points. Just having the time of his life there with Cale Makar. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Colorado Avalanche first place, and they might run riot. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, yeah,
Run
they might
riot.
just
Okay, we will.
they
I
might
will
run
hold you
riot.
accountable for that if they run riot, but we'll see. So so in order from the division, I've got the Avalanche. I've got the Avalanche first. I've got the Stars second. I've got
Yeah,
the Jets third. I've got the Blues fourth, making that wild card spot. And teams that are out, I have the Wild fifth, not making playoffs. The Predators not making playoffs. Utah not making playoffs, and the Blackhawks not making playoffs. Those, except Utah sixth, Predators seventh. I meant to say that.
Yeah.
So five to eight, Wild, Utah, Nashville, Chicago, not making playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. My Central Division is Avs first, Stars second, Utah third, Blues fourth, Jets fifth. All those teams getting into the playoffs, with the Wild, Reds, and Hawks all missing the playoffs.
So yeah, next week we move on to the Eastern Conference. I'm excited. I think
Yeah.
we always do this, Justin and myself. We will do the Metro first and do our division, our favorite division, with all those teams that we love in the Atlantic Division last before we head into the season. But that's going to do it for this episode of the AJ Sports Podcast. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, tell all your friends. We'll be back, next week. I'm not sure when I'll get this pod out, considering I just uploaded the one the other day, or yesterday. So probably by Friday or Monday. We will try and get this out as soon as possible. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. We will see you guys on the next one for the Metro Division, and enjoy the rest of your week. Go Jays, go.
Let's go.